Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. The UNESCO-organized Egyptology Festival in Cairo in 1974 was a significant event in African historiography. African experts presented their research alongside their international counterparts for the first time. During this conference, it was acknowledged that the ancient Egyptian language was distinct from Semitic languages. Egyptologist Serge Sauneron recognized the importance of the comparative work by Théophile Obenga and Cheikh Anta Diop, affirming the legitimacy of exploring links between ancient Egypt and the rest of Black Africa. This led to the inclusion of ancient Egypt in the framework of the general history of Africa, with Cheikh Anta Diop authoring The Origin of the Ancient Egyptians in Volume 2 of UNESCO's publication. The multidisciplinary approach, developed to highlight the African roots of pharaonic Egypt, can be categorized into four main areas: cultural, sociological, anthropological, and historical. Let's start with linguistics. This involves comparing modern African languages with Egyptian ones, Pharaonic and Coptic. Cheikh Anta Diop, in his paper titled Relatedness of Pharaonic Egyptian and Black African Languages, published in 1977, showed linguistic similarities between his native language, Wolof, a language spoken in Senegal, and the Egyptian language. For example, when examining verb conjugation in Egyptian, Coptic, and Wolof, a language of Senegal, he clearly showed linguistic similarities. He expanded his research further by exploring these linguistic similarities with other Black African languages spoken in Cameroon, Ghana, Congo, and Sudan, among other places. Next, let's compare the similarities between the pharaonic royal headdresses, also known as the kepresh, and the distinct style of frizzy hair worn by the Tutsi of Rwanda. In this image, you can spot the distinct braids of Queen Ahmose Nefertari. A tomb painting here shows a woman from the Kemetic New Kingdom with braids. How about musical instruments? The harps used in ancient Kemet are similar to an African harp from Central Africa, precisely Gabon. Unbeknownst to a lot of Africans, Black Africans had various written scripts. Colonization led to the destruction of these facts. We have covered this in a previous video on this channel. It is a fact that Black Africa has preserved writing systems of the hieroglyphic type, such as the Vai, Ansibidi, and Bamun scripts. The similarities between these scripts and Kemetic hieroglyphics are striking. Since prehistoric times, Black African artists have used colors such as black, brown, dark red, and ochre to depict individuals from their communities. This can be seen in cave paintings from the Sahara and southern Africa. These same colors are also found in Egyptian paintings, allowing for comparisons between Egyptian art and the art from other parts of the continent. There have been instances where Egyptologists and restorers have repainted tomb reliefs and other artifacts, controversially altering the original depictions of individuals from black to white. This practice has contributed to the broader issue of whitewashing Egyptian history, which undermines the African roots and contributions to ancient Egyptian civilization. Cheikh Anta Diop used various scientific methods, including melanin dosage tests on Egyptian mummies, to demonstrate that ancient Egyptians were Black Africans. How about obvious references to Black African features in ancient Kemetic art? Pharaoh Khufu is best known for commissioning the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. His reign marked a significant period in the Old Kingdom of Egypt. Pharaoh Pepi, the first ruled during the 6th dynasty, and is remembered for his extensive building projects and efforts to strengthen the central government. His pyramid complex at Saqqara includes an array of temples and chapels. Pharaoh Mentuhotep I was a ruler of the 11th dynasty during the First Intermediate period. He is credited with helping to reunify Egypt, setting the stage for the Middle Kingdom. Queen Ahmose Nefertari was a queen and the mother of Pharaoh Amenhotep I. She played a crucial role in the early 18th dynasty and was highly revered, eventually being deified and worshipped as a goddess. Pharaoh Amenhotep III's reign is often considered the height of ancient Egyptian civilization, marked by peace, prosperity, and extensive artistic and architectural achievements, including the construction of the Luxor temple. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, resurrection, and fertility, is depicted in the Book of the Dead, specifically in the Nebget papyrus, dating to around 1400 BC. Amun rose to prominence and became associated with the sun god Ra. His depiction at Deir el-Bahari from the 18th dynasty can be seen in the Luxor Museum. How about Western art representations? An 11th century manuscript illustrates the biblical story where Sarah is brought to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh returns Sarah to Abraham. These ceramics reflect the continuous depiction of Egyptian themes in various forms of Western art throughout history. Next, Kemet was a matriarchal society consistent with the rest of Black Africa. Another cultural similarity between Kemet and Black Africa is the concept of totemism. Totemism, which associates a given animal to an individual or community, is still very much practiced in Africa. How about the similarities in names? Various groups in present-day Black Africa retain many names noted in ancient Kemet. These include names like Atum, Kara, Mary, Sek, Bara, Bari, Raka, Kaba, Keti, Kamara, Konare, Sankare, Antef, etc. The concept of royalty and its symbols, such as the uraeus, can be seen in the regal headdresses of both the pharaohs of ancient Egypt and the Oni of Ife in Nigeria. The uraeus, a rearing cobra, is an emblem of sovereignty, divinity, and protection, prominently featured on the crowns of Egyptian pharaohs. Similarly, the Oni of Ife, a traditional ruler in Yoruba culture, dons a headdress that signifies his royal status and spiritual authority. While an activist for African independence and a Senegalese student in Paris, Diop decided to explore the African past. Like many, he had been taught by colonial schools that Africa lacked significant history. As a politician, Diop aimed to find a common heritage among Africans to unite them through their shared history and build a stronger Africa. During his journey, he encountered Egypt and noticed remarkable similarities between its language and Wolof. This led him to conclude that the ancient Egyptians and their pharaohs were black. In 1954, at 31, he published the renowned Nations Nègres et Culture, which challenged the distortions of African history and exposed the falsifications of Western Egyptology. Diop wasn't the first black person to assert that the Egyptians were black. Figures like the Haitian Antenor Firmin and the Egyptian Dous Ali Mohammed had made similar claims. However, Diop was the first to thoroughly substantiate these claims and use them to address Africa's enduring issues. Cheikh, Anta Diop, and Théophile Obenga. Marginalized and insulted, Diop's career faced obstruction from President Senghor upon his return to Senegal. However, in 1974, at a symposium in Cairo, Western scholars could no longer deny the evidence, and UNESCO recognized Diop's brilliance. Today, Cheikh Anta Diop is hailed as the greatest African scholar of the 20th century, the father of modern African historiography, and the pioneer of Africa's intellectual renaissance. The voice of Black Africa can no longer be silenced. Be black and proud. Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of the hunt will always glorify the hunter.